Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of my healing journey with Monique. Guys, this part is going to be a little difficult, but it's true. And I just want to let you guys know I spent years looking outside of myself for something I have been missing since childhood. Love, protection, validation, somebody telling me, I see you, Mo. I believe in you. You matter. But you know what? When you grow up starving for those things, sometimes you will accept crumbs and convince yourself it's a whole fucking meal. And I did that for years. I thought love meant sacrificing myself. I thought, love meant proving how loyal I was. Or I thought love meant staying, forgiving, giving another chance, then another one and another one. Even when I was disappearing inside the relationship, even when my body was fucking exhausted and my mind was exhausted, even when something inside me kept saying, Mo, this isn't fucking love. Guys, there are some things that happen to us as children that we don't fully understand until years later. At the time, we don't have the language. We don't know words like trauma. We don't know words like violation. We don't understand boundaries. We just know something feels wrong, something hurts, something scares us, and we want somebody to make it stop. This is one of those parts of my story. I'm not going to go into every detail. I don't really need to, but I do need to acknowledge that little girl because she carried this silently for a very long time. So this is for her. I was sexually abused as a child. And even saying that out loud feels different than what it felt like when I first wrote about it. Because that little girl, Monique, didn't have those words. She didn't know how to explain what was happening. She just knew she didn't want it happening. She knew she was uncomfortable. She knew she was scared. She knew it hurt. And she knew she wanted somebody to protect her. There were times I tried to communicate that something was wrong, but I didn't feel believed. I didn't feel protected. And when a child does not feel protected, something happens inside of them. You start questioning yourself. You start wondering if maybe what happened wasn't as bad as it felt. You start wondering whether anybody would believe you anyway. And eventually you learn how to survive it. And for me, survival looked like suppressing things, disconnecting, acting like I was okay, trying not to feel. There were things happening around me that I couldn't understand. And I remember wondering, does any fucking body see me? Does anybody know what's happening right now? Why isn't anybody stopping this? And when nobody came to save me, I learned something that followed me for years. I learned that maybe I was supposed to save my fucking self. But a child shouldn't have to save herself. A child shouldn't have to figure out how to survive fucking adults. A child shouldn't have to carry secrets because she's too afraid of what will happen if people find out. And a child should never have to wonder whether she's worth protecting. But I did. And I didn't understand how deeply those experiences affected me until I became an adult, because trauma doesn't always stay in the moment when it happened. Sometimes it follows you, and it follows you into the way you trust, into the way you love, into the way you respond to conflict, into the way you react when somebody crosses a boundary, into the way you feel about your own body, into the way you question whether you feel your feelings are valid. And sometimes, guys, it follows you into relationships where something inside of you knows this doesn't feel safe. But another part of you has been trained to tolerate unsafe things. That realization hurts me because I started understanding that there were times in my adult life when I accepted things that should have made me walk away immediately, and I didn't. Not because I wanted to be mistreated, not because I deserved it, but because somewhere along the way, my nervous system had learned how to survive things my heart never should have had to endure. That little girl learned silence. Adult me had to learn boundaries. That little girl learned to question herself. Adult me had to learn to trust herself. That little girl learned that other people's comfort might matter more than her pain. And adult me had to learn my pain matters too. And probably the hardest thing that I've had to learn is what happened to me became part of my story. But it does not get to become my identity. I am more than what happened to me, guys. I am more than what somebody did to my body. I am more than the things I survived. And today, that little girl doesn't have to stay silent anymore because she has me. This is probably one of the hardest part of my journeys to walk and talk about. But you know what? I'm not sharing it because I want sympathy. I'm sharing it because silence kept me carrying things that were never mine to be ashamed of. And for years, that little girl didn't have the words for what was happening to her. But today, Monique, I have the words now. She didn't have the ability to create boundaries. But today, Monique, I do. She didn't always have somebody standing between her and what was hurting her. But she has me now. And one of the biggest things healing has taught me is that I can't go back and change what happened. I can't go back and give that little girl a different childhood. But what I can make sure she doesn't spend the rest of her life believing she was powerless. So when I say I'm taking my power back, this is part of what I mean. And if you're carrying something from childhood that you've never been able to put into words, you don't owe anybody every detail of your story in order for what happened to you to matter. Your healing belongs to you, guys. Your voice belongs to you. Your boundaries belong to you. And so does your story. Remember that. In part 4, I'm going to talk about what happened when that little girl grew up and started looking for love without realizing that she was still trying to heal wounds she didn't even have names for yet. So guys, with that being said, I'll see you in part 4. Thank you for listening. Peace.